This is the comparison between the 2016 MacBook Pro and the 2016 Razer Blade Pro. Here are the specs. You can find them in the links below, so I'm not going to go through them one by one here. The main things to note are the differences in system memory. It's 16 gig of RAM on the MacBook Pro versus 32 gigs on the Razer Blade Pro, and the graphics card Radeon Pro 455 versus the NVIDIA GTX 1080. I wanted to see if the specs really matter in real-world projects, and unlike myself, a lot of people would like to be able to game on these laptops as well. So I'm going to break this out into two sections: gaming and content creation. First, gaming. Full disclosure, I don't game, and I'm basing my opinion on the Unigen, Valley, and Heaven benchmarks and other YouTubers' game test videos of these two laptops. Note that the MacBook Pro maxes out at 1920 by 1200 and the Razer Blade Pro is at 3840 by 2160. Here are the scores. The Razer Blade Pro easily outperforms the MacBook Pro by double the score and frame per seconds. So if the main reason you are spending $3,700 is for a powerful, slim gaming system, the obvious winner is the Razer Blade Pro. Second part is content creation, and this is a bit more complicated because I will test it in all the ways I will use it on a week-to-week basis. It ranges from photography, editing wedding videos, and motion graphics work. For this, I'm going to break it up into 15 rounds of evaluation. Most of these are scientific and some are just my opinion and use case. Full disclosure, I was ready to upgrade to the MacBook Pro, but was so disappointed by the announcement with all the omissions, like the regular USB port, an HDMI port, and SD card reader, so I went looking for something else that had all of these things in a similar built body, and this is the best one out there right now. So don't call me an Apple fanboy, because in this case I really want the Razer Blade Pro to win me over. So let's get on with the comparisons. Round 1, portability. 4 pound versus 7 pounds. The MacBook Pro footprint is a lot smaller. The big bezel on the Razer Blade Pro is especially noticeable when you're doing these comparisons, but during daily use it didn't bother me too much. But still, I give this round to the MacBook Pro because it's much lighter and smaller. Round 2, screen size and work area. The resolution is 3840 by 2160 versus 2880 by 1800. Although you have more workspace on the Razer Blade Pro, I found that it's best to scale the UI so that it's easier to see what you're doing, but the Blade Pro still wins this round because you have the option for more workspace. Round 3, ports. 4 USB-C versus 3 USB 3 port, Ethernet, HDMI, USB-C, and a card reader. The only good thing about the MacBook Pro dongle life is the ability to charge one of these power banks, but it's not exactly a necessity, so I still give this round to the Razer Blade Pro. Round 4, aesthetics. Design and build quality is very similar. I think they both look good and professional. That's why I'm doing this comparison between the two. So for me, it's a tie. Round 5, transfer speed. I'll be looking at the onboard SSD performance. This SD card reader with the USB-C to USB 3 dongle versus the built-in card reader on the Razer Blade Pro. The SSD on the MacBook Pro is much faster and almost twice as fast in the write speed, and the SD card read and write was a bit faster on the MacBook Pro as well. And for the real world test, I transferred a 109 gig folder from my Samsung T3 via USB-C, and the MacBook Pro was much faster writing to the desktop, but a bit slower writing the same folder back to the drive, but I still give this to the MacBook Pro because it outperforms in all but one transfer test. Round 6, Geekbench. The Razer Blade Pro is slightly slower in the CPU because of the 2.6 processor versus the 2.7 of the MacBook Pro, but it's interesting that the MacBook Pro performance stays the same when it's unplugged, but the Razer Blade Pro drops a little bit. In the GPU test, the NVIDIA GTX 1080 absolutely destroys the low-powered Radeon Pro 455. This round goes to the Razer Blade Pro. But in the next 7 rounds, I'm going to test this against real-world projects and see if this score reflects real-world performance. Round 7, Lightroom Import. I'm importing 400 raw images from my Sony a7S II, and the MacBook Pro is faster by 3 minutes. So this round goes to the MacBook Pro. Round 8, Photoshop Radio and Blur Test. The MacBook Pro is slightly faster, so I'll have to give this round to the MacBook Pro, but it's not that big of a difference. Round 9, Adobe After Effects render speed. I'm going to be rendering this 10-second show intro with lots of flares and 3D elements. On a side note, it was kind of cool to scrub the video with the touch bar on the MacBook Pro. I've never done this with any of the touchscreen before. Here, just wanted to show that I'm using the 12 gigs of RAM on the MacBook Pro, leaving 4 gigs for other programs, and 28 gigs of RAM on the Razer Blade Pro, and leaving 4 gigs for other programs. And the Razer Blade Pro finishes the render about 8 minutes faster, so this round goes to the Razer Blade Pro. Round 10, Cinema 4D R16 render speed. I'm going to be rendering one frame of this diamond ring element I use in the show intro, and a 120 frames rotation render of the scooter. And this test gave me different results, unlike other tests where the differences weren't notable. Here we have the MacBook Pro performing better on day 1, but on day 2 the Razer Blade Pro performed better. I've double checked and triple checked these results. It's going to be a tie in this test. Round 11, Stabilizer Speed Test. Final Cut Pro X and Premiere Pro CC17 are stabilizing a 10-second 4K clip. Final Cut Pro X on the MacBook Pro is already done, and I'm playing it back now, but we have to wait for the Razer Blade Pro and Premiere Pro to finish. And it's finally done. The results for this particular clip with the default auto setting were exactly the same. I also ran the same stabilizer in Premiere Pro on the MacBook Pro, and it's faster than Premiere Pro on the Razer Blade Pro. But Final Cut Pro X on the MacBook Pro is so much faster, this round goes to the MacBook Pro. Round 12, Small Project Render Speed Test. I'm rendering a 50-second video with 5 different clips, all with Magic Bullet looks, Cosmos Skin Smoother, Stabilizer, and Twixtor at 50% on the last 10-second clip. With background rendering off, the MacBook Pro is about 1 minute faster, and with it on, it just kills the render in 39 seconds. And in Media Encoder, the MacBook Pro is slightly faster, but it's about 10 seconds slower using the software render. So this round still goes to the MacBook Pro. Round 13, Large Project Render Speed. On both systems, in Media Encoder, I'm rendering a 6.5 minute wedding project, created in Premiere Pro utilizing the metal renderer on the MacBook Pro and CUDA on the Razer Blade Pro. Both rendering with default setting, the Razer Blade Pro beats the MacBook Pro by 20 minutes. But when rendered for YouTube at 1080p, the lead is cut down to 8.5 minutes. So still, this round goes to Razer Blade Pro. Round 14, price. The MacBook Pro is $900 less for the entry-level system, and even the upgraded MacBook Pro with the 2.9 GHz processor, the Radeon Pro 460, and a 1TB drive is still $500 cheaper than the Razer Blade Pro. So this round definitely goes to the MacBook Pro. And going into the last round, the MacBook Pro has a 2-round lead, so we already know where this is going. But let's look at round 15 anyway. Round 15, ease of use. For me, the butterfly keyboard feels better and is easier to get used to than the low-profile mechanical keyboard of the Razer Blade Pro. The touch bar is a bit more useful in my case because I never actually touch any of my screens. And in Lightroom, Photoshop, and Cinema 4D, they're all basically the same. The difference is the timeline scrubbing in Final Cut Pro is much more responsive and smooth. The stabilizer workflow is faster in Final Cut Pro. You don't need to nest a 4K clip in a 1080p timeline. Finder previews are so useful for going through footage and images. I tried finding something similar on the Razer Blade Pro. I tried out One Commander, but it's not quite there yet since you don't have controls once you go into preview mode. So this round goes to the MacBook Pro as well. Although the render times are a bit faster on the Razer Blade Pro, it's not by the kind of margins that I was expecting, and it doesn't offer as much benefits to my workflow as I was looking for with the premium price tag. So the winner for me for content creation is the MacBook Pro. So which one am I keeping? Probably neither. I might consider ordering the upgraded MacBook Pro, but only if a project I have coming up demands it, or I'll wait till they decide to put 32 gigs of RAM in their updated one. Follow the links in the description for the items used in this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more.